Hi, so good afternoon. Hi, how are you? Hi, this is Ken O from Canton Chambers Lawyers. We are based in New Zealand, Auckland. Yep. My name is Ken, and then I'm an immigration lawyer. Uh, uh, this is uh, this is the first time in 2019 Facebook Live. We promised that for end of last year we are going to come back after New Year, but I'm sorry, then we are being late. And then, but in anyway, we are going to start for our Facebook Live in a uh, soon, like for from today, and we are going to have every Wednesday 5 o'clock in New Zealand time, and uh, then we are going to update our new policy in New Zealand. So we briefly introduce ourselves. My name is Ken. I've been for New Zealand lawyer for around 20 years this year, and then Canton Chambers Lawyers is for general legal practice. But however, from this year, we are going to be more specializing in for immigration in New Zealand one. So we are helping lots of for skilled people from overseas into New Zealand. We are helping for the visa process. This we are helping for whole family come to New Zealand for settle here in New Zealand well. So if any people in interest in New Zealand for residence visa, work visa, please come to us. We are quite happy to help you. So today, and then last year I did many of introduction of the visa systems here in New Zealand. For I can make some summary of visa systems here in New Zealand for better understanding of the visa here in New Zealand. So I can briefly for explanation why in New Zealand we need a visa, right? So in New Zealand, and then we need a good population to for well maintain or well manage of New Zealand economics. So we are targeting for a minimum 5 million population here in New Zealand. That was for start for late 1980s, and then we are almost getting 5 million now. So, but we think that still keep going up our immigration policy to bringing more skilled people from overseas into New Zealand, because and many New Zealand people got some graduation and then got experience here in New Zealand. They are leaving New Zealand for better employment and then better the payment in overseas. So we are still look for good number of skilled people here in New Zealand. So that is the reason why our immigration policies are still going, and then we need skilled people to replace of any New Zealanders who left for overseas, or then we are economies are still growing. We need more people here in New Zealand. So briefly, then I can explain for visa systems here in New Zealand. So in New Zealand, a big three categories of the visa systems here. We call this as a temporary visa system, and then temporary visa system we say for in work visa there, and then student visa, and then visitor visa there. Main three is for mainly for temporary visa, and then there's for residence visa here. Residence visa mainly for skilled migrant category. We understand this is a pointed system which need a high English requirement, IELTS 6.5, and then high salary, not a high for medium salary requirement in New Zealand for minimum $25 per hour, or some 52,000 per annum. And also we need to meet the pointed system. Which pointed system means for mainly for your age, your qualification, your experience, and your job offer. This is a main pointed system. At the moment, we need 160 points over. and then English is IELTS 6.5 or higher, and then job offer, which has a high skill and high income, not a high income, so medium income in New Zealand. So this is 52,000 per annum. And also in a residence visa category, we got some business category there, investor category, investor 1, investor 2. Investor 1 is for 10 million in New Zealand, and then investor 2 is for 3 million in New Zealand dollars. And then also we got a family category there. In a family category, most popular one is for the partnership visa, and then parents the category, and then children will be there. But parent category was closed for like a few years, and then now they are going to reopen February next year, and then and also like a very high requirement there. So and then between for temporary visa to residence visa, and then we got some in the middle and work to residence visa there. So work to residence visa category we call talent visa, means for any visa apply from the job offer from employer accredited employer and get a job and then apply for talent visa. And we call this as highly skilled people. And then second thing is for long-term skills shortage. Long-term skills shortage means for all over the New Zealand area, and then that job is always like a skill shortage. From in New Zealand, for on the top of the north is for Cape Reinga to for the bottom is for like Invercargill, and then whole New Zealand area. This job is always a shortage, and we call this as a long-term skill shortage. So any long-term skill shortage in the list, then we don't need any labor market tests for that. I will like some explain here later on. Okay, so big three category is for like a temporary visa, the residence visa. In between their work to residence visa, the benefit of the work to residence visa is that when you apply for the residence visa, you don't need any English requirement, right? So this is a big three category of the visa. So now we are going to more explanation of the visa category, the new policy change by the New Zealand government. So initially, December last year, 2018, they announced that they are going to change the whole visa system, means for temporary visa system, from their like a temporary visa system there for work visa, and then they are going to change. So main idea. So many people confused for what the visa policy has been changed. So so far the policy has not been changed much. For the immigration department, New Zealand government, they announced that they are going to change for over the next 1.5 or 2 years period, and then they are going to change like these systems. So it does not affect to any like some work to residence visa, except for one part of the talent visa. Only for income threshold has been changed, like increased, but it doesn't mean much to all other the general people. Only for any people who apply for accredited employer, then this is only affecting now. So most of work visa is for like will change for the next time, for not very soon, at least 1.5 year to like a 2 years period, and then they are going to change. So main changes for like a work visa system. So doesn't affect any the skilled migrant category, doesn't affect any the residence, business category, doesn't affect any like a family category, doesn't affect for the work to residence visa category much. So this is a main change is for under the, as I told you, for temporary visa system, and then for work visa there, And then so this is work visa system will be changed for next 1.5 year, like some 2 years time period. Then maybe then I can briefly for explanation for the work visa, like work visa system there. And work visa is as a big 2 categories there. So one category is for any work visa related to for employer and employee, and there shall be always for relationship between for 2 parties, means that employer and employee shall be for 2 parties involved. Then the work visa will be like some granted. Then we call this employer related work visa. And then the other one is for totally no requirement of any like employer. That means this is totally independent from specific requirement, any requirement of any specific employers. Then we call this is the open work visa. So a work visa is technically too big for any work visa related for employer, any work visa non-relevant for employer. Non-relevant to employer, this is we call the open work visa. Open work visa means for usually if you come to New Zealand and then study, and then after you got the finish the study and you got the visa, then we call this the employer post-study work visa. Now this is open. This is an open work visa. And also, if you are like a partner of any work visa or partner of New Zealand, like a partner means for actually practically a husband-wife situation. So in that case, you can get some open work visa. So open work visa means that you can work for any job for any employer. That means for any job is for, you can do any skilled job or non-skilled job, any job you can do that. So that means for any employer means for, you can work for any employer. This means for self-employed also like possible. That means if you work for yourself, then any employer can be yourself. So if you have an open work visa, then you can work for any job, for any employer. And also, if you want, you can do your own business as well, right? Then this is quite interesting. And then that means that this is open work visa is quite like a broad. Actually, you work as like a New Zealand residence visa or New Zealand citizen, then you can do any work, any job. Sometimes for if you want, you can have for 2 jobs, and then you can have some 3 jobs. Or if you want to work for one employer, then you can work for more hours. Then this is totally up to you and your employer situation. Yeah. So the other work visa is for this employer related, means for employer associated for visa. And then this is mainly for 6 visas there. And then this 6 visa will be changed. This is the main policy, the effect of this the policy change. So any employer related work visa will be for essential work visa, and then a problem principle, and then work to residence visa, any talent visa, and the work to residence visa, and then long-term skill shortage visa, and then Silver Fund job search visa, and the Silver Fund practical experience visa. I think there are not many people who can understand for Silver Fund job search visa and then Silver Fund practical experience visa. So this is not a popular, but in any way, and there was the policy, but they are going to like change it. So far, and then Silver Fund job search visa is already closed. No more can people apply anymore. But for you are curious, even though it is closed, and then any people who can be qualified for the skilled migrant category only except for job offer, that means that they can apply for a Silver Fund the job search visa. then they can come to New Zealand and then find an employer, then they can apply for residence visa. This is a silver fund, like a job search visa. But this is not this is only for a small number of the people can apply, and then so this is not a popular, and then no more these policies exist anymore because immigration department has already closed for this job search visa in New Zealand already. So mainly for big change is for this is the essential work visa. Like this is mainly for work essential work visa, and then work residence visa, of the talent visa, and also long-term skill shortage visa, and then approval in principle. This is the main category, main frame of this new policy change, right? So I can briefly explain for currently how does it work. And then the new policy means that we call currently we got some 6 different the visa, we call different names, but in under the new policy we call this a temporary work visa, one temporary work visa, and these are 6 categories of visa combined, one temporary work visa. And then so currently for all different visa has a different requirement, and then different for like a policy, and different for like a process. However, under the new policy, they all mingle, and then make one visa policy, means like one policy which call for temporary work visa. So one temporary work visa has for all these ingredients, like 6 ingredients in there, right? So this is a little like a complicated. So because each different 6 visa the policy, different process shall be for contained in one like a visa, like the container, and then this is for temporary work visa. So major change is that for they are going to have some 3 like a different steps. The main difference is for like a employer, they have to be tested, like they have to be checked by themselves who wants to hire any foreign workers, right? And then they need to apply for the permit, means for they have to be accredited by the immigration department. So every employer who wants to hire any foreign workers, they have to be accredited. If you are not denied of any accreditation, you cannot hire any foreign workers. That means that you have to hire only for local people, means for New Zealand the residence visa holders or citizens, you have to hire only that. So the first steps, every employer who wants to hire any foreign workers, they have to apply for immigration department and get some the permit, means for accreditation. Second thing, for if the employer got an accreditation, then they have to do for labor market test here in New Zealand. So under the current policy, then you have to try to for genuine attempt to recruit of New Zealander, means for New Zealand citizen or New Zealand like a residence visa holder. Then you have to prove, you couldn't find any New Zealanders, then so you want to hire any foreign workers. Then the same concept will apply. However, under the new policy, depends on your job, depends on your area, depends on your payment, then so all the labor market test requirement will be different. Then I'm going to more explanation those things in a later on, okay? Third thing is for once you finish for your employer accreditation and then employer hasn't for any for labor market test, then employer can give any job offer to the foreign workers. Then so foreign worker has to get some job offer and then apply for immigration department. At the time, this time only for make an assessment of employee only, because employer has been already tested, labor market has already tested. So when the employee, potential employee apply for visa, then so only for check of the employee's matter, such as any medical issue. If you are like some no medical issue will be fine. Character issue means for if you got any no criminal record will be fine. And then for yourself, you are like a genuine people or not, so your identity like will check for maybe if you are younger or like too much older, like then they will all check it. And the third thing, if you got a job offer, then so you have to prove that you are suitable for the job. That means you need to check if you have any relevant qualification, or you have to get some relevant experience. This is like a main check for assistance there. So today, and we are going to for briefly for summary of the new policy change, and then next time, and we are going to more specify of the more like a summary of the new policy change, why the government change, and then for then we are going to more talking about for employer check, and then later on we are going to for labor market check, and then we are going for the employee check for the next series of the live will be held. So from today, and then we are going to look up to here. And then if you got any questions, then so you can send any email to us or like some question, we are going to answer to you. So please don't forget for like if you have any questions, like a visa apply at cantonlaw.co.nz, and then so you can send us some questions so we can reply to you. And then especially please do like a Facebook, our main page for like, and then follow, then that helps. Then when we get any new information, we are going to update for like new policy. And then if any employer in New Zealand looking for some like potential skilled people, then we will like give any information there. Please don't forget to follow up our main page or like, and then I can see you for next Wednesday, the 5 o'clock in New Zealand time. Okay, thank you. Bye bye.